Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really focusing in on something big for you business and retail owners out there. Geothermal heating and cooling. We've looked at government info on tax credits, market reports, some real-world case studies, even HVAC provider details. And our mission today, pretty simple. Show you the money, the financial upside, and the practical side of using geothermal for your business. Let's jump in.
Okay, yeah. And what really stands out right away is the financial backing available now. The Inflation Reduction Act, well, it really supercharged the investment tax credit, the ITC, for commercial geothermal. So for most businesses putting these systems in from early 2023 onwards, you're likely looking at a 30% tax credit. That's a serious chunk off the initial cost.
Wow, 30%. That sounds like a major pull. What are the main things a business owner needs to know to lock in that higher rate?
Well, for most typical small or medium-sized business projects, it often comes down to meeting prevailing wage and apprenticeship requirements during the install. That usually gets you the 30%. Or if the project's under a certain size, a certain thermal output, you're probably good too. And what's really important here is there's no cap on this credit. It can offset different taxes. You can carry it back, even transfer it, and it's been extended out past 2030.
Okay, so not just for the corporate giants then. Good.
Yeah.
Now, I thought something about extra credits too, bonus credits.
Oh, absolutely. Good catch. If you make a point of using American-made materials, steel, iron, manufactured parts, you could tack on another up to 10%. Plus, there's another potential 10% bonus if your business happens to be in what they call an energy community. Think areas maybe with closed coal mines or plants, certain brownfield sites, or places historically tied to fossil fuels that have higher unemployment.
Right. So those could really stack up.
They definitely can.
But what about, say, a nonprofit or maybe a town government building? They don't pay taxes the same way. Are they left out?
No, and this is actually pretty revolutionary. There's a direct pay option now. So those exact kinds of organizations, non-taxable ones, they can actually get a direct payment from the government. It equals the ITC plus that domestic content bonus if they qualify. That's for projects put in service after the end of 2022.
Direct pay. So schools, community centers, charities, that opens up a lot of possibilities for them. Okay, so beyond those initial credits cutting the cost, what about the longer-term financials?
Well, geothermal systems get favorable depreciation treatment. You can use the 5-year MACRS schedule to write off the system's cost basis. Keep in mind, you do have to reduce that basis by half the tax credit amount first. And on top of that, these systems are often eligible for first-year bonus depreciation, which lets you deduct even more right away, although that bonus amount is phasing down year by year.
So get the credit up front, and you can write off the system faster. Seems like a good deal. But what about paying for the installation itself? That initial outlay can still be tough.
Exactly. And that's where something called C-PACE financing can be really helpful. Commercial property assessed clean energy. It basically lets you finance 100% of the upfront costs for projects like geothermal. It's done through a voluntary assessment added to your property tax bill. You pay it back over the long term, often the life of the equipment, maybe 20 years. And the assessment usually stays with the property if you sell, assuming the buyer agrees. It's available in, I think, over 30 states now.
Finance the whole thing with no major upfront capital.
Yeah.
That's got to ease cash flow concerns for a lot of businesses. So what's the vibe in the market? Is commercial geothermal catching on?
Oh, definitely. The market's already pretty substantial, valued near $3 billion recently, and it's expected to grow quite a bit. With everyone focused on decarbonization and energy efficiency, it just makes sense. We're seeing it used everywhere: healthcare for stable temps, hotels for comfort, and that green image, retail, offices, schools, logistics centers.
Okay, the demand is there, but are businesses actually saving money? Got any examples?
Yeah, real-world results are key. We've seen case studies like the governor's resident savings, significant energy. There was a small business in Pennsylvania that cut its heating costs by over 70%. 70. Another commercial property nearby achieved, consistent comfort all year and lower bills. So, yes, the savings are real.
Those are pretty powerful stories. Okay, so if I'm a business owner listening now, and this sounds interesting, what are the first practical steps? Where do I start?
Good question. First step is usually talking to the experts, geothermal designers, professional engineers. Get a feasibility assessment for your specific building or site. You can find qualified folks through directories from organizations like IGSHPA or the Geothermal Exchange Organization. Also, definitely check out the Department of Energy's Geothermal Technologies Office. They have resources, sometimes funding opportunities, and an expert match program for technical help. And don't forget state incentive. The DSIRE database is the place to look for those. Plus, local HVAC companies that specialize in geothermal, like Hartzell's Heat and Air was one example mentioned, can be great resources too.
Right. So lots of places to turn for info. It really sounds like for any business, any retail owner looking at reducing operating costs, hitting sustainability targets, getting a handle on energy, geothermal is, well, a really strong contender now. You've got the big tax breaks, the smart financing like CPACE, and proof that it saves energy and money. It's quite the package.
It really is. When you look at the long game, the potential savings, all the support available, exploring geothermal seems like a very strategic move. It could help future-proof your business and, contribute positively. So the real question for you listening is, what's your first step going to be to see how geothermal could work specifically for your business needs?